The Applause Sector Command of the Ghana Immigration Service is processing 202 African nationals for repatriation. They were arrested for unlawful entry into Ghana through unapproved routes along the Ghana-Togo border. According to the Immigration Service, 92 of the illegal travelers were arrested on Saturday by the Defense Intelligence of the Ghana Armed Forces at Sogakope in the South Don district, while the other 110 were arrested by the Immigration Service at a checkpoint at Ativuta in Ketu South.
Still in news, some aggrieved toll booth workers in the country on Tuesday, November 30, congregated at the Accra Sports Stadium in protest at the discontinuation of road tolls by the government, which they say has led to an abrupt termination of their contract with their employers. In an interview GBC News, the secretary of the Ghana Toll Workers Group, Mr. Edward Duncan, said they are pleading with the Ministries of Roads and Highways and Transport to ensure the payment of their salary arrears and for a proper job termination process according to law to be followed. According to Mr. Duncan, the aggrieved toll booth workers resorted to the protest because life is now difficult for them and all efforts to dialogue with government has proved futile. The government's 2022 budget and economic statement stipulates cessation of road and bridge toll collection subsequently on Thursday, November 18, 2021, a day after the presentation of the budget in Parliament. The Minister for Roads and Highways, Mr. Kwesi Amwakwata, directed the discontinuation of such tolls.
The appeal to the government is to make agriculture a priority for access to sufficient, affordable and nutritious food at Cape Coast in the Central Region ahead of the 37th Farmers' Day celebration. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture has launched an exhibition to showcase our nation's rich array of foodstuffs and processed foods. Many believe that focusing on agriculture will create jobs for the youth, improve on citizens' well-being and generate revenue.
The exhibitors from the Central, Western, North, Eastern, Northern and Bunu regions showcased produce including rice, cassava, plantain and other processed foods. The Omahini of Orange Mine traditional area, Uhunabo Pra Ajinsem, called on the government to make agriculture a priority. This, he says, will not only ensure food security, but also create jobs for the youth and improve the well-being of citizens while generating revenue for the national kitty. The Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Mrs. Mavis Hawakumson, said the ministry is training the youth in aquaculture and therefore encourage them to take advantage of the program to improve their livelihoods. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Owuswe Akoto, reiterated government's commitment to improve agriculture and ensure food security. The Eastern Regional Minister, Mr. Seth Kwame Champong, donated cash and items to the Living Hope Orphanage at Elmina. This year's National Farmers' Day is on the theme, Planting for Food and Jobs, Consolidating Food System in Ghana.
The Apadintra East Municipal Assembly has organized its Farmers' Day at Dunkor Isukuma in the Central Region ahead of the National Farmers' Day slated for December 3, 2021 at Cape Coast. The event recognized farmers who have distinguished themselves in the municipality.
The 37th edition of the National Farmers' Day under the theme Planting for Food and Jobs, Consolidating Food Systems in Ghana is expected to start from November 29, 2021 to December 3, 2021. An agricultural fair, exhibition and regional focus are some activities that forms part of the celebration. The climax will be a grand deba and an award ceremony at Cape Coast. Ahead of the national event, the Upper Dentra East Municipal Assembly has honored farmers in the municipality. The Municipal Director of Agriculture, Nana Obindanso, encouraged the youth to venture into agriculture instead of searching for non-existent white-collar jobs. The Municipal Chief Executive for Upper Dentra East, Mr. Ebenezer Piaforsen, commended farmers in the municipality for their hard work. He urged the farmers to adopt modern methods of farming. The overall best farmer, Mr. Adama Musa, advised other farmers to put much efforts into farming to achieve their aim.
The call from the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development to Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies, MMDAs, is to enforce the Food Safety Act 2012 to the letter. It is a law, among others, to promote, safeguard, maintain and protect the health of humans and animals. This was at the launch of a food safety campaign at Accra on Monday.
The awareness creation campaign under the theme Food Safety for a Healthy Tomorrow, #Food Safety Everybody's Business, is a collaboration between the Ministry, the Ghana Tourism Authority, the Food and Drugs Authority, AMA, the Ministry of Health, and the Canada's Global Affair under its Modernizing Agriculture in Ghana program. The Chief Executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Mrs. Elizabeth Saki, observed that food-related deaths across the globe are unacceptable, and that the AMA will continue its public education and awareness creation campaign for the good of all.
The processing of food, the harvesting of food, when not handled well, can give us a lot of problems.
Madam Mariam Pakpa said it behoves the MMDAs to ensure implementation of the Public Health Act 2012 at 851 while the ministry does the monitoring.
So the essence of this activity is to ensure that the bylaws on food safety are enforced.
For the Ghana Tourism Authority, the hospitality industry has been a key component under its regulations and is looking out for safety of all. The Environmental Health Unit of the AMA said from research conducted by the unit on food-related diseases, 2 out of 5 people studied have eaten unsafe food. Market women were charged not to adulterate palm oil, granite paste, etc., which is a sure source of food poisoning. Farmers and butchers were also asked to make their products safe to the public.
Ghana's castles and forts are a legacy of our historic past as much to modern Ghana, Africa and the world. Though built on African soil, their origins are from Europe. Portuguese, Dutch, French, Britons, Brandenburg, Prussians, Danes and Swedes. In our Talk Ghana series, GBC News puts forth Metal Cross located in the Western region in focus.
The British colonial fortification Fort Metal Cross, originally Dick's Cove Fort, is in close proximity of the fishing village of Mfuma in Dick's Cove in the western region of Ghana. The fort was built in 1692 to establish a base to search for gold in the surrounding area. It also provided a good operating base for English captains trading with the Germans at Fort Grossfriedrichsburg. The building of the fort was delayed because of local resistance. However, by 1750, the fort had been completed and armed with 25 guns. The fort was taken over by the Dutch in 1868 as part of an Anglo-Dutch agreement. The fort was renamed Metal Cross or Metal Cross after one of the Dutch gunboats which brought the reinforcement. In 1872, the fort reverted to the British, who renamed it Fort Metal Cross. The fort has since been used by both the police and the postal services. The chief of Upper Greater Dix Cove leased to the English a promontory site located on the shore of a large unsheltered bay. The cove's calm waters and sandy beach made it an ideal harbour for canoes and small boats, while ships could anchor about 3 kilometers offshore.
The ship came every 3 months to convey the slaves and their traded items. The slaves were marked with metal cross as a term of identification to prevent them from escaping.
For the British, the motive for starting construction of Dix Cove Fort in 1692 was identical to that of the Dutch in building Fort Bulletin to tap into the promise of gold in the hinterland, also to win back the many English captains trading at the Brandenburgers Fort Gross Fredericksburg in nearby Princestown. However, the people of Infuma, loyal to two chiefs whose allegiances swayed between the British and Dutch, besieged the fort several times on behalf of the Dutch, stalling its completion. It was a cemetery site before the fort was built. Gold was never found, and the facility was used more for the repair and provision of food to passing ships. It was also used as a slave prison. The fort has 3 dungeons where the slaves were kept, 2 dungeons for men, 1 for women, and each contained 25 slaves. During the Kundum festival, chiefs and people of the western region go to the fort to perform rituals.
The life of a 14-year-old virgin is the sacrifice on which the fort was built. She was buried alive.
The inner structure has apartments, storage rooms and kitchen arranged round a small courtyard. A place was set as a market ground.
Steps from main gates to name the crossing.
Fort Metal Cross derives its name from the inner architecture of the building.
There is a bell on top of the building which they used to communicate whenever enemies were coming to fight them. There is a guest house around the fort. It is worthy of note that extraordinary history was made once when one castle, Elmina, held prisoner an Ashanti king in all his splendor during the first stage of his forced exile from Ghana. Strong winds accompanied by a downpour have destroyed houses and rendered most residents homeless at New Obuasi, formerly known as Dentra Obuasi, in the Upper Dentra West District of the Central Region.
The storm ripped off roofs, especially of thatched houses, an Anglican school, uncompleted police station and some churches. Electricity poles and wires were also destroyed by the storm. Teaching and learning have been affected at the Anglican primary school, where some wooden panels were destroyed by the rain. Some of the affected residents appealed to benevolent organizations and individuals to come to their aid.
The moon and some Framano out to me to Ghana. To me, fast as some Pie, and you know who had the end also. A Judiba. The one I'm dim the Cafu Pan and Accuracy, the Finfiniam, Tifa, Capan, Ban and Moa. So, the Baba, but many of the Jimmy Terrato. You gather for them, so the insurance see a man. A crown of who said, and from my neighbor. Bayana, no thing. You know, say a damn a couple chance and up on top baby. There is swinging up to the Susan and the Namushi. Namilla back to family and the crocodile. It's a bank, and down on the boy. You could only long way jump. You say, I say, I'm going to be and soon be answered on track.
The Upper Dentra West NADMO Director,
Mr. Isaac Jesse said relief items would be provided to support the victims. He urged the people to plant more trees around their houses to serve as windbreaks to avoid such destruction in the future.
34 conflict spots have been identified in the Upper East region. 19 of the number are land disputes, 7 chieftaincies, 6 farmer herder conflicts, and 2 are religious and mining disputes. The details came up at a meeting on Conflict Security and Stability Fund organized by Star Ghana Foundation at Fimbisi in the Bulsa South district of the Upper East region.
The Northern Ghana project of the Conflict Security and Stability Fund aims to identify and address the underlying causes of conflict, insecurity and underdevelopment in Northern Ghana. It is an initiative of Star Ghana Foundation being implemented in partnership with the National Peace Council Northern Development Authority and the Northern Development Forum with support from an expert technical support group. The phase 1 of the project resulted in the development of a roadmap for sustaining peace and development in Northern Ghana. Implementation of the second phase is focusing on local issues to influence policy in the areas of peace, security and development. The District Chief Executive for Bulsa South, Mr. Daniel Kwame Gariba, said the district has about 5 conflict spots.
In the Upper East alone, we have not less than 34 conflict spots in the region. What does this tell us? It tells us that we have a lot of things that can spark conflict within this region, and that if we are not careful, the meager resources that we are supposed to use to develop our various districts will be channeled into taking care of conflict.
The project manager of the Conflict Security and Stability Fund, Northern Project with Star Ghana Foundation, Mr. Aaron Atimpe, spoke about the project.
What this phase of the project now seeks to do is basically implementing at the grassroots around 3 main objectives.
The program's manager at Star Ghana Foundation, Mrs. Eunice Agbanyaji, mentioned border infrastructure and Fulani herdsmen and farmers' conflict as some of the issues that came up during their engagements.
The Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs has received insights into the provisions of the New Lands Act of 2020, Act 1036, which seeks to sanitize land administration throughout the country. A justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Dennis J., told the chiefs that just as the law has considered their interest in administration, especially in the sale of lands, any one of them who engage in fraudulent or double sale of stolen lands or engage other persons as land guards commit an offense punishable by a prison term.
The Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, with the Asantehene as the live president and the paramount chief of Mampong as the live vice president, is made up of all the paramount chiefs and selected divisional chiefs. The meeting, which was at the instance of the Asantehene, was for a justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Dennis J., whose specialization is in land administration, to educate the members on provisions of the Lands Act of 2020, Act 1036, and officially admit new divisional chiefs into the House. Justice Dennis J. swore 3 chiefs into the Regional House of Chiefs. He led the chiefs of Kuntunase, Kokofua Samang and Asafo to take their oath of office and oath of secrecy.
So help me God. So help me God.
The Lands Act has consolidated most of the old but fragmented land laws to allow for easy access. The law also spells out clearly the responsibilities of various interest groups and individuals connected with land use, such as the state, stools, families and investors. It also has provisions for land administration such as sale, lease, compulsory acquisition by the state, re-entry and adverse possession. The resource person, Justice Dennis J., explained what the new Land Act is meant to achieve.
ebusan de ton no obia ese wonya wo secretariat na secretariat no enti nkrata ne nyina wo so yenim se plot aduonum e na awo ko lands commission e wo se plot aduonum e na awo ti wo de ba ko e ma obi a no ye krata e ko lands commission won so ho no ye ba wo ho ne ye behwa a ye be hu se ampa plot we wo de ama obi.
The Asantehene Otumfuo Seitutu asked the chiefs not to be frightened by the law since it seeks to eliminate cheating, fraud and negative tendencies from land ownership and administration.
Mrano ayashe no eni ede no esi ano pepepepe asisi ni ayinti na krata yaba sika na bana na nanko afa na nipa wo amfa ma wo mu nyame ada ma ye ne ha de se ye kun asase ho ne langa de sem de bi ni ha se nti eno so de ye be hwe nso se bi ma ha se.
You're live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. We take a break. We'll come back. We'll do some business. Please stay. This is Business, brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. My name is Esther Edu Ohubewu. The highly patronized 25th anniversary promo by telecommunications giant MTN has ended with the final batch of 20 customers going home with a 2021 Hyundai Sonata each. This brings to 50 customers who have received the MTN at 25th anniversary car price promo. At the presentation ceremony in Accra, the Senior Manager for Consumer Marketing at MTN, Nana Santua Amegashi, hinted MTN is working around the clock to protect its customers from mobile money fraud.
From the beginning of the year, the MTN at 25 promo has been running concurrently with other giveaways, including free talk time and data for participating customers. The main prize, which is the 2021 Hyundai Sonata, a sleek saloon car embedded with ultra-modern features and technology, was the eye candy of most customers. It was therefore keenly contested by thousands of customers across the country. However, the slot was awarded to only 50 lucky winners in batches. First was 25 winners, then 5, and finally the last batch of 20 winners. A winner of the MTN at 25 promo, Mr. Wisdom Umboga, had a word for the public.
I do buy a lot of bundle. I think in a week I can maybe spend almost 150, 200 Ghana cedis on bundle alone. And that is why I actually got a key. I'm very proud. But initially when they called me, I wasn't sure. Yeah, I even told the lady, no, are you sure you are not one of the scammers? And she said, no, I should check the contact very well. In fact, to all the MTN customers out there, I think anytime there's promotion going on, we should all take part. It's a luck. It's a luck. You can get it.
The Senior Manager of Consumer Marketing at MTN Ghana, Nana Santua Amegashi, expressed optimism about MTN's resolve to protect its customers from momo fraud and other dubious tactics employed by fraudsters to mislead its customers.
But the important thing is to make sure that people are aware, and then we inform them, educate them to know what to do, what to look out for, to be sure that they are not defrauded. We continued with what we call early bird offers, where we gave customers who came onto the network the very first time when we started operations in 1996. So we gave away free phones, we gave away other executive souvenirs and things to our customers to say thank you to them. We continued with this consumer promo that you are seeing, in addition to other different rewards that we're giving to our customers day in, day out.
With Christmas just around the corner, MTN is urging its customers and potential customers to expect more as a way of rewarding loyalty in commemorating its silver jubilee.
Government's 2022 spending plan has been approved by the majority in Parliament. Prior to the approval, the Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Ufuriata, said although he had been prevented from addressing the House on Friday, he was prepared to enumerate measures being taken to address the concerns of the minority in the 2022 budget.
And I'd like to assure the minority that in committee I will to address their concerns as enumerated in their open letter to the public with a JAPA, and we agreed that consultations had not finished. AG is still working on that, and any such issue would also be brought to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, in fact, the estimates do not include any revenue from that transaction. The big issue in the House is the elephant in the room, which is the e-levy. The e-levy enables us to tackle the three issues of debt sustainability, of infrastructure, and most importantly, of our employment issues. We have therefore considered the issue of the 1.75% e-levy, in which, Mr. Speaker, we are in discussions with the telcos to scale back to moderate their impact so that in the end the impact on the citizenry would be manageable.
And that was Business, brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. Thanks for watching.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the energy segment. I'm Dominic Honoji. 15 nuclear power vendors and strategic partner companies from 6 countries have expressed interest in assisting Ghana to establish a nuclear power plant. The countries are Russia, USA, China, Canada, France and South Korea. Executive Director of Nuclear Power Ghana, Dr. Stephen Yamwa, said this at a training program for journalists in Accra.
The just-ended COP26 has intensified calls for the nuclear industry to quicken activities for countries to adopt nuclear power, which is green energy. In this regard, Nuclear Power Ghana, in collaboration with Volta River Authority, VRA, organized a training program to equip journalists, especially energy reporters, with the necessary information to educate the public on the benefits and myths surrounding nuclear power issues. Executive Director of Nuclear Power Ghana is Dr. Stephen Yamwa.
So we issued a request for information to Russia, to China, to USA, to India and South Korea. And later on, the document was also issued to France. At the end of the process, the submission process, 5 out of the 6 countries responded. We are currently evaluating these responses, and we will put our recommendation together, submit to the Minister of Energy, and obviously the expectation is that it will go to government, to cabinet, and then a decision will be made for us to proceed on that.
Government is yet to take a decision on whether to establish a large reactor plant or a small module. He disclosed that 4 sites have been identified and are being considered for the nuclear plant project. Deputy Chief Executive of Bui Power Authority, Mr. Antonio Safokisi, said nuclear power is clean energy that Ghanaians must support.
Bui Power Authority is committed to supporting Nuclear Power Limited to develop the first nuclear power plant in Ghana. Nuclear is clean and emits no carbon dioxide, unlike coal and other thermal plants. Ghana has abundant natural resources which require reliable and affordable base load electricity to support value chain addition.
Journalists from selected media houses participating in the 3-day program will be equipped with the needed knowledge on nuclear power for proper reporting to help educate the nation.
Bui Solar contributed 0.2378 gigawatt hours of power to national generation in the last 24 hours. Ghana's overall hydro, thermal and solar generation was 62.5703 gigawatt hours in the last 24 hours. Benin, Togo and Burkina Faso received 4.775 gigawatt hours of power from Ghana in the last 24 hours. Here are some more details.
For hydro energy generated in the past 24 hours, Akosombo recorded 19.0880 gigawatt hours, Bon 3.2070 gigawatt hours, and Bui 5.8212 gigawatt hours. Here is what functional thermal power producers contributed to the generation mix within the period. The 3 hydropower plants produced 28.1162 gigawatt hours. Operational thermal power plants contributed 34.2163 gigawatt hours, and total solar generation was 0.2378 gigawatt hours. Total power generation was 62.503 gigawatt hours in the last 24 hours.
You're welcome to the health segment brought to you by Lufat from Tobinco. The need for blood is constant, and the Chief Executive of the National Blood Service, Dr. Justina Ansah, says the biggest benefit of being a blood donor is the opportunity to save lives. She is therefore persuading the youth to be voluntary donors to help stock the blood bank. At the 21st National Blood Donor Day in Accra, the Blood Service Board said the percentage of voluntarily donated blood collected by the service's 3 blood centers in Accra, Kumasi and Tamale reported a decline from 52% in 2019 to 24% in 2020.
National Blood Donor Day is celebrated each year to appreciate regular, voluntary and paid blood donors for helping to save lives. While the request or demand for blood keeps increasing, the National Blood Service has in recent times recorded a sharp decline in blood donation. The decline is partly attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic. Ghana's current population is over 30.8 million, with the youth making up 38.2%. The Chief Executive of the National Blood Service, NBS, Dr. Justina Ansah, said more Ghanaians qualify in terms of age because the eligible age range for blood donation is between 17 and 60 years.
Ghana's blood collection index is about 6. This literally means that only 6 people out of every 1,000 population donate blood, instead of a minimum of 10 people.
The Director of Pharmaceutical Services at the Ministry of Health, Mrs. Jocelyn Na, Kwai Azes commended the Rotary Club of Ghana for its efforts in promoting voluntary blood donation.
I would also like to charge the National Commission on Civic Education to collaborate with the National Blood Service to intensify blood donor education campaigns across the country.
The chairperson of the Ghana Blood Foundation and past president of Rotary Club of Accra, Mr. Frank Gajebu, congratulated all voluntary blood.
The segment was brought to you by UFAT from Tobinco. The news continues after this break.